hint of swing for Cotterell.
Umpire Joel Wilson, presiding at the moment from the Joel Ghana end. Very experienced 71st one-day international. Alongside him, Nigel Duguid out of Guyana in his 9th.
Sheldon Cotterell might have just missed his mark, just ensuring that he starts from the right place. Here he goes again. Again, a little too straight. It's something we saw from him in that first one-day international when, in his first spell, a lot of his deliveries ended up on the stumps. Allowed the Australian batsmen to score freely. So that's an adjustment that he will want to make early up.
Based on the field that he has that extra cover region open and 3 fielders on the ring on the leg side. So the plan will be for him to bowl straight.
Yeah, and it's important to reflect on what has gone and let that inform how you go about things. This was in that first game. As mentioned, the strike rate quite high when he was straight, 107. But he just has to shift to that green column. Get outside the off-stump to the right-handers. Boundaries too on the short side. Deliveries which were short, which got high. And too straight as well. First delivery outside the off-stump. He gets the wicket and the traditional salute. 1 down for Australia.
Just looking at the bottom of his bat, Ben McDermott. But early success for the West Indies. Sheldon Cotterell in his first over, short and wide. And just a feather through into wicketkeeper. And that familiar celebration from Sheldon Cotterell. Early wicket gone for the Australians, 1 for 1.
.1250s and a solitary 100. Mitchell Marsh will want to increase the numbers in that hundreds column. He's been batting brilliantly throughout this tour for Australia. T20I series most runs. And you see it because of this. Just not getting the bounce right, hitting under the bounce of this one, maybe too wide as well.
And just prior to that dismissal, Australia reached the end of the first power play without losing a wicket for the 3rd time in their last 4 ODIs. So it's usually a good start for them with the opening partnership, that opening partnership in the first ODI, 51. So a rebuilding job will be needed by Mitch Marsh. And Josh Philippi was very impressive on debut. First over gone, 1 for 1.
Stump, please. Thank you.
Mitch Marsh, Philippi. with a lot of work to do. They will want to get themselves set. We spoke about this pitch and how tricky it might be. Jason Holder will partner Sheldon Cottrell, as we saw in that first one-day international.
And you would see the left-handed Cottrell trying to bowl straight, and he would have had the field in place for that. The right-handed Jason Holder, who looks to take the ball away from the right-handers, will look to bowl a little bit wider. 2 slips in place, 4 men on the ring through the offside. The contrasting styles, contrasting plans.
When you look at Jason Holder, you know that because of his height, he has that ability to extract a significant amount of bounce as compared to his colleagues in this West Indian team. 6'6", 6'7", his height. Worked away nicely through the onside. More importantly, played off the back foot again. Philippe could trust the bounce, especially against Holder, because out of all the bowlers and fast bowlers in this West Indian side, he will extract the highest amount of bounce, 100 centimeters. And that's from a good length. You don't have to worry about getting too far forward if you're a batsman facing Jason Holder. What he might want to do, based on what we saw in that first one-day international, is get the length a little bit fuller. Jason Holder stays pretty much in that good length region, which is between 6 to 8, but ideally he'll want to be on that 6-meter line. Just a little bit fuller, lure the batsman forward.
Yep. Good call, mate. No, mate, no.
Still off the back foot. This was the first one-day international. Just look at his lengths. 84% in that green band. But where he'll want to be is exactly on the line between the red and green band, 6 meters. That's ideal for Jason Holder. Will he make that adjustment today? He's got 2 slips in play as well. End of the over, 4 for 1.
Good start for the West Indies. Early wicket, which wasn't the case in that first one-day international. It's always important to get wickets throughout the course of any cricket match. The earlier you get them, the better chances you have of restricting the opposition.
Ben McDermott, that's meant to be dismissed already in this Australian innings.
You mentioned that line, Darren, that Cottrell should be operating on. Much better line from him. He did get some swing on that occasion as well. Excellent delivery. Just keep the batsmen guessing and bowling to your strengths. And one of his strengths is getting this new ball to swing. Some late swing as well.
But it's interesting to see that Karen Pollard has 4 men Back to 5 men on the onside. So that's why Sheldon Cottrell might be aiming for finishing on the stumps. Probably a strategy against Josh Philippi. Only 4 fielders through the offside, so not a lot of room for error through that offside. Just feel an adjustment probably has to be made. Even Cottrell, extra fielder through the offside.
So far, he's been bowling to his field. No third man in position, so he knows that at the back of his mind. He wouldn't want to give too much width to that offside. But Philippi has proven to be quite competent with those deliveries that are straight, especially the short ones, which he pulled magnificently in that opening match.
There he goes again.
It'll be really interesting to see the tactics from Karen Pollard throughout the course of this bowling effort. Traditionally tends to keep Hayden Walsh Jr. after the first 25 overs. In that first game, I think he came on in the 28th over. So it might be an opportunity to get him into the game a little bit earlier after the first power play.
Well, Sheldon Cottrell picked up the first and only wicket so far in the innings and achieved a landmark, a significant one in his ODI career. Brought up his 50th wicket in ODI. 37 matches, an economy under 6. That slipped out. Might have been looking for that slower delivery, loose fingers on the ball.
So a couple of that from Sheldon Cottrell already in this tour. This is his 50th one-day international wicket. And a feather through to wicketkeeper Shea Hope in his first over. We did see Mitchell Stark do that in the first ODI. And have to re-bowl that. So picking up a wicket in the first over in a one-day international is always a special and significant achievement. And this is such a familiar sight in these parts, especially if you're a Sheldon Cottrell supporter.
Sure, you want to frame that pose. Off the pad, surely. End of the over, 6 for 1. Cloudy day here in Barbados. Nice wind blowing through. Always a wonderful atmosphere here at Kensington Oval. Sheldon Cottrell leaving the field. Hopefully it's nothing serious from a West Indian point of view.
Philippi has looked very compact and organized in that first game. That would have been his debut. Got to 39. Some youngsters looking on through the gates, trying to get a glimpse of the action.
Much better length from Jason Holder. For the first time he's lured one of these Australians on the front foot. And the reason too why it's important for him to get that length a little bit fuller is we expect that this surface will produce variable pace, which might just give Holder an advantage when he goes full. Pulls it away. It stood up and it was there for the taking. 4 runs.
It really has been exceptional playing those short balls. Philippi continues to demonstrate that in this, the second game. So quite a number of those shots against the left-handed Cottrell. Very used to playing short bowling, those types of deliveries, so it's very much at home.
They've stitched together a nice partnership for 51 with McDermott, 39 from 42, 4 fours and 2 sixes, a lot of them coming through the onside. Took the attack to Jason Mohammed in his first over. Use of the feet down the ground, sixer. And he was looking ominous. Didn't really go on in that innings. Uppishly, but it was a fuller length. Alzarri Joseph ran into that advertising board with a lot of pace. Luckily for him, he doesn't react as if anything is wrong.
He seems to be okay. And commitment in the field. Loud sound as he made contact with the advertising board. That seems to be good. Let's look at that collision into the advertising board.
Was that for? The umpire will just check and ensure that his hand wasn't making contact with that advertising board. The umpire, I think, is convinced that there was contact and for being signaled.
So his effort goes in vain. Alzarri Joseph. Another boundary in the over for Josh Philippi. First square of the wicket, then straight back. So showing his versatility.
Just not finding the perfect length, Jason Holder. Gone, 14 for 1.
And it's about doing a repair job. Mitch Marsh got a start in that first game, got to 20 before he was dismissed. They want to build a platform, get up to that maybe 250, which was a successful score in the first game. I think that might be their target initially.
Cottrell still off the field, so we'll now see Alzarri Joseph. Really was impressive in that first game. 2 for 40 from his 10. Bowled with pace. Usually in his ODI career, he picks up wickets here at Kensington Oval.
Yeah, he has 14 wickets here at the Kensington Oval, the most for any bowler. Only 4 one-day international matches, so a very happy hunting ground for him. And what I did notice in that first game, he was prepared to bowl a little bit fuller than what we're used to seeing from Alzarri Joseph. Of course, he's coming from that stint in the county circuit.
Again, a little extra bounce. And that's going to be the challenge. And as a batsman, for you to interpret variations in bounce, in pace off the wicket. Just playing under this one, Mitch Marsh.
Direct hit results in the overthrow. Nicholas Pooran in the outfield today because of Shea Hope making his return in the team and taking up the wicket-keeping duties. And sometimes being accurate works against you, as Nicholas Pooran just found out with that direct hit. Shea Hope playing here at his home ground at the Kensington Oval. I'm sure everyone will be looking to see what he can do with the bat a little bit later on, especially given what transpired in the first one-day international and his successes in ODI cricket.
Yeah, Shea Hope is a massive part of West Indies ODI success, especially with the bat. Not only as a batsman, he'll be valued in this team, but also the appointed vice-captain to Karen Pollard. He'll bring that experience to this team. Of course, he missed the first game because of an ankle injury. And this is what the West Indies missed in terms of his batting form and talent. Over 50 average. Very impressive figures. 10 centuries to his name. Ranked with the best in ODI cricket worldwide. Went for it. Was length. Had sufficient bounce. And he just swiveled on it to get a boundary to end the over. 19 for 1. Mitch Marsh will be thinking about getting in. And he'll take confidence from his partner on the other end, Philippi, who loves it short, being from Western Australia.
Hayden Walsh Jr. with that 5-wicket haul. And first West Indian leg spinner to achieve that feat. Previous best 4 for 26 by Rajendra Dhanraj in 1994. Excellent returns for him, and he's continuing that love affair with the Australian team.
Went for the pull and got into the shot quite early, Marsh. Yeah, just indicating that there's a little bit of slowness off the pitch that got the better of him. He was already swinging through the line and almost finished with that shot when the ball came.
Both these players from Western Australia would have played on bouncy wickets through their formative years, so they'll fancy playing those cross-batted shots.
How can he find a cluster with that type of length? And that's a big challenge for Jason Holder, who's struggled a bit in ODI cricket in recent times. He's done quite well with the new ball in T20 cricket, but just hasn't had the type of success in ODIs at the top of the innings with the ball.
It just goes to show the difference in format for a bowler and the adjustments that have to be made. In T20 cricket, you want to be inconsistent in terms of your lines and length. You don't want to be predictable. In 50-over cricket, in one-day international, you have more of an opportunity to do that, to try to cluster those deliveries on a good length and ask batsmen to take chances. Quite the opposite in T20 cricket.
Glorious. Mitch Marsh can do no wrong with that one. Presented the full face of the bat. That would have felt really special.
A deliberate ploy from Jason Holder to bowl fuller to Mitch Marsh because of his strength square of the wicket. This time, just misses that length a little bit too full. And Mitch Marsh is good enough to treat with that delivery confidently.
Four runs from the over, 23 for 1.
A good little partnership building between these two, 22 now, after the loss of the early wicket. And they know that they have quite a job ahead of them. Enriquez, Carey, top scorer in that first game to come. Ashton Turner, 49. So a lot of batting to come, but they'll want to make use of the starts, each of these players.
Cottrell might just make his way back onto the field. Alzarri Joseph will probably find that fuller length as we saw in the first match. Will try to swing the ball as well, away from the right-hander.
Doesn't have a third man in place. His two fielders out, deep backward square, deep fine leg. So just might be asked to bowl straighter.
Funny you mentioned that adjustment that Jason Holder will have to make when he changes for different formats of the game. I had the chance to interview the player of the match in the first game, Mitchell Stark, and when I asked him about any adjustments that he would have made from the T20Is to the ODIs, he said, quite frankly, none. There are some bowlers who can rely on their strengths across formats. An obvious strength for Mitchell Stark is that pace that he has. Averages in the 140s. Also has that ability to swing the new ball early up. There he is. One of the greats in Australian cricket. His last 5-wicket haul, just going past the great Glenn McGrath. And that's in ODI cricket. Went for it. It's in the air, and the catch has been taken. Evan Lewis gets his man, so to the West Indies.
Always pleasing when a plan comes to fruition, and this would have been the plan by Kieron Pollard, Alzarri Joseph, having those two fielders out in the deep backward square in position just for this. He's been very good on the pull shot so far, Josh Philippi, and as we've seen in cricket, sometimes your strength can also be your weakness. Adds to his tally of wickets at the Kensington Oval. Alzari Joseph Philippi goes for 16, 23 for 2.
Are you wet, sir?
23 for 2 in the sunshine here at Kensington Oval. Moses Enriquez, the new batsman. Hasn't found his best touch with the bat on this tour yet. The propensity of Josh Philippi to pull the length ball, and he's done it reasonably well previously. Driving that on the up, it's a time to say hello and good afternoon to Curtly Ambrose.
Good afternoon, Bish. Philippe went for the pull shot. I don't think it was that short a delivery. So he didn't get hold of it the way he would have wanted. And West Indies have struck fairly early.
Just wonder where they go at the other end with Holder, who hasn't been at his best, whether they can prize another one out of him. 26 for 2. Another over to Jason Holder, 3 overs for 15 so far. Got him! That is a big wicket. Holder being persisted with, quite rightly finds success.
Certainly a big wicket. Mitchell Marsh, the informed player. It was a very good delivery. Pitch just outside off stump. Did enough to take the edge. Celebration from Jason Holder and the West Indies team. They know that that's a big wicket. Mitchell Marsh is gone for 8. Australia, 26 for 3.
Gentlemen, the batsman is here. Oh boy, you love them kind of edge. If timer dog.
Captain Alex Carey. Lovely half century in the first one-day international. Great thing for me about this, Curtly, is we haven't seen too many 4th stump, 5th stump deliveries so far today. Holder has shifted his line from very straight, and it has brought him reward. I think that's the right thing.
Certainly is the right thing. Look at that. Mitch Marsh had to play. That is much better bowling. Got to ask questions. Jason Holder was bowling a little bit too straight, as you alluded to, Bish. And he's experienced enough to just change to bowl slightly outside off stump, 4th and 5th stump. And he's got predominantly an offside field as well. Now there's a slight adjustment. A second slip is going in.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you. We were both sitting next door and we felt the line was too straight too often. Not that there weren't any deliveries out there, but it was very minimal 4th stump, 5th stump, 6th stump. Oh, there was a really good shift in line.
Good bowling by Jason Holder. Got to keep probing away just on that 4th and 5th stump area. Ask questions of the batsmen. You've got 2 slips in place. So the line has to be just outside off stump.
Yeah, just a reminder of yours, there were a few deliveries. Cottrell got a wicket outside the off stump. There were a few. But I think the conglomeration, understandably, the highest percentage is straight. But occasionally, you don't want to give too much room in ODIs outside of stump, but occasionally, to certain batsmen, you can go 4th, 5th stump without being too wide. I thought that was a good variation of it. Should be 4, or could be 4. Now it's slowing up. Umpires might want to have a look. Akil Hussain was the fielder.
Really did well. Hussain never gave up the chase. He realized that the ball was slowing down. Did he save his team a run?
I think he pulled it back with the right hand and then it hit the left hand. The first pullback I think was good. But just when he hits it there, the ball hits his left hand and the body was already in contact with the rope. We'll see it here. Just there. It's touch and go. 4 signaled. 30 for 3.
Yeah, middle. No run.
A little bit too straight from Alzawi Joseph, with 2 slips in place. You'd want to focus on bowling on that 4th and 5th stump that we talk about, Bish. Look to induce an edge. You don't want to get clipped off into the leg side too often. That's better.
Yeah, I agree with you. There are a number of things, options, and their options is that I'm sure Alzari would have been His preferred end would have been the opposite end, the Malcolm Marshall end, because of his outswing. The wind would be assisting. But you can't always have the end that you want. I know that from bowling with you. I never got the end that I wanted. And he's a little bit shorter in length on average today from that Joel Garner end. And as you said, bowling a touch straighter. That's a lovely shot. A very early dive from Sheldon Cottrell. I think the umpires might be satisfied that he saved a run or two.
Very good effort from Sheldon Cottrell. Two straight again from Alzari Joseph.
No run.
One of the things that bowlers need to understand in ODI cricket, yes, every bowler wants to see a couple of wickets in the wickets column, but at the same time there's a process. You don't want to just try to attack too much. It's about containment. And the more you contain, you build pressure. And once you build pressure, you force batsmen to do things out of the ordinary, and the wickets will come. You don't want them to get off the flyer, and then you're under pressure.
Not a bad line to end. 34 for 3. Conditions are good. Just reminding viewers who joined late, it's a continuation of the game which started last Thursday. The toss was taken then, not a ball was bowled, but fell in favor of Australia, who chose to bat. No retoss today. Also just bringing you up to date, one change for Australia, agreeing between the two team captains and the match referee. Hazelwood in, out, sorry, Agar in. Where's Agar, that is. The third one-day game will be played on Monday coming. So we will complete the series after the scare we had on Thursday. There's Wes Agar. He wasn't actually left out of last Thursday's game. But Hazelwood wasn't 100% today, so there was an exchange. Couple of runs.
A bit of a loose shot from Carey. Managed to just get it outside the 30-yard circle in the air. Just for viewers, just reminding you that the third and final ODI will be played on Monday. Complete Australia series. Good bowling. That's the area you want to bowl.
So Kyron Pollard signaling to Sheldon Cottrell, who's at third man, to get loose. I'm seeing Akil Hussein also loosening up at mid-off. So a change in bowling might be imminent. .37 for 3.
Only 1 minute down.
First power play completed. Now we're into the second power play, overs 11 to 40, where the option of having 4 fielders outside the inner circle is available to the fielding captain. Hussein with a couple of wickets the other day, 2 for 50. Intrigued to see if he can get anywhere near the purchase of the surface. It looks a slightly harder pitch. It hasn't gone through the surface, the top yet.
Oh, a little bit this way.
It's a very dry surface. And can Akil Hussein get the ball to grip of the dry surface?
Hey, hey, hey. Walk, Gilly. Hey! This kid. Draw.
Hussein is trying not to give room outside the left-hander's off stump, but in the event of that is getting a touch too straight to start. Now he's getting a chance to bowl at Enriquez, who's got that propensity or weakness against the ball, leaving him. I think Hussein got him out in the first game, sweeping.
Stuff horse. Kilo.
Will be a slight adjustment in the field, as we have seen quite a lot. Captain Kyron Pollard getting into that short leg position. A little bit too short.
This is how Enriquez went in the first game.
Bowling a little bit too much on the leg stump. Akil Hussein.
Yeah, the one advantage that Hussein will have for him today is that the leg side field to the left-handed batsman is a lot bigger than it was in the first game, and it's hitting against the wind as well. So your error ball, if you make an error, you try for it to be tucked into the leg side rather than the offside. Lovely, lovely from Akil Hussein. Brilliant little bit of flight. And carry's gone.
Much better delivery. Flighted, a lot slower. Pitch more on off stump this time. There's a hint of spin as well. Carey missed it completely. He's gone for 10. Australia 41 for 4.
Ashton Turner played very well in the first game for 49. Had that wonderful 100-run partnership with Alex Carey, the captain. Bats with a good tempo in this format as well. A strike rate of over 120. It was slightly slow. You're absolutely right. 91 kilometers per hour compared to 92 and 93 the balls before. Much better from Hussein.
Short leg is back in for Turner. Also, that first slip in place. And why not at 41 for 4? You got to try pick up another 1 or 2 here quickly.
Come here,
41 for 4.
Quickly, boys. Akil. Deep in the wicket, please. Slowly at the backward square. Dario. Stand up, please. Dario. Take the ball now. Right hand. His legs down. Center.
Hayden Walsh Jr. coming on much earlier today. He came on the 29th over in the first game. His length was absolutely magnificent last game. Success came currently in that 4 to 5 meter area.
The difference is, Bish, is that he bowled from the Joel Garner end in that first game. Now he's operating from the Malcolm Marshall end. But if you're a good enough bowler, it wouldn't really matter that much which end you bowl from, especially when the confidence is sky high. You never had a problem with ends, Bish.
Yeah, what he'll have to adjust today is his line. He perhaps need to be a touch tighter into off stump quite often, but that's from the last game. Perilously close to Pollard.
Wasn't that far. It was a valiant effort from the captain.
I mentioned the length of Walsh in the last game. The blue ones are the wickets, and a lot of it between that 4 to 6 meter area. Ideally between 4 and 5 is hard to get to. It's there. Very good from Walsh. 44 for 4. What Ashton Turner to set up his 5-wicket haul. Carey, Turner, Stark, Wade. And where's Agar? Almost run out, really. Australia winning by 133 runs under the DLS system. Still bowling very quickly for a lot of the over. I think we've seen a smidgen of assistance if he can just slow the pace down a touch.
I think he'll be more effective if he does slow it down a little bit.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. On cue, on call. Hussain strikes again.
That's exactly what we're talking about. Slow it down a bit. You'll get some turn. Good, easy catch by Jason Holder. Once again, Henriquez falls to the ball, going away from him. He's gone for 4. Australia struggling at 44 for 5.
Let's go, guys. Batsman is here.
The old pros here, boys, huh? Don't want to speak into the youngsters. You guys only know what is right when it's on the other side, huh?
Come back and touch for.
Matthew Wade.
Sorry.
Aaron Pollard with him at short leg. Jason Holder at slip. As Enriquez does have that propensity and history of falling to the ball, spinning away from him. Slightly slower in pace, 89 kilometers per hour compared to 93 first ball. Still work to do.
Keep going, Keely.
Hasn't bowled that well to the left-handers. Tend to be pitching on leg stump, going further down the leg side. There's been a few wides called. So he's got to focus a little bit more when he bowls to the left-handers.
I think that's because he hasn't got much margin for error if he goes outside the off stump. So at least his error is to the protected side of the field. That's his error. You don't want to be bowling there, but he's making the mistake on that side. But you're right, he absolutely has to go more off stump. Very good, very, very good. Is this Akil Hussein's day here at Kensington Oval?
Certainly shaping up to be that. Every time he bowls a bit slower, Bish, he gets the ball to turn. And he's hoisted into the air by Darwin Bravo. Look at that. Beautifully bowled. Look at the rev on that delivery. Certainly bamboozled Turner. He had no answer to it. He's gone for one. Australia really in trouble. 45 for 6.